You used to call me on my. You used to. Yeah. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. And I know when that hotline blink, that can only mean one thing.
We're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the NVC Video Game Book Club, a group in which we get together to play one game for a month, normally a Nintendo game, and then we discuss it at the end of the month. I'm your host, Adrian Nieto, and joining me is the Superman of podcast, Edward Burnell. Thank you for coming, dude.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for inviting me, Adrian.
And a newcomer, very special guest, Simon's Cake own George Guzman. How you doing,
Hi
dude?
guys, nice to be here. Thanks, Adrian, for the invite.
Yeah, thank you for coming, dude. And well, we've been playing through Banjo Kazooie for the month of October, and for me, it's one of Rare's biggest games, at least on the time, right? It came out June 29th, 1998, for the N64, like I said, and it was known for the weird characters, the quirky humor, and just how good it looked back in the day. So let's try to start this by, in one sentence, say what we think of the game. Edward, why don't you start?
Um, learning from learning from Nintendo, learning Nintendo's philosophy of design.
Fair enough. What about you, Josh?
Like um, the classic N64 collectathon that really worked well.
Yeah, that's very true. For me, it is Rare at its peak. As a company, they were this was the game for them, at least in my opinion. So now the story bay centers around Banjo and his bird friend Kazooie, which was this weird female bird that was always insulting people, always making fun of people. Like you couldn't shut her up, and it was pretty funny, the interaction between the two characters and how different they were. And they're trying to save Banjo's sister Turi from Grutilda, which is this evil witch that is trying to take Turi's beauty from her to become the cutest witch, I guess, in the land. So that's the base for this story. What do you guys think about it?
Um, it,
We can
story
talk
wise,
spoiler. We can talk spoilers, so that's fine.
story wise, Gruntilda's right.
Yeah, Griselda.
Okay. Gruntilda, she likes to rhyme her words. So every time she talked was always a rhyme sentence. So
hmm
it kind of felt like early early 90 platformers of 3D when even when Sony was doing platformers like Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot. It kind of had that design in it in learning. We was talking earlier that I feel that it has the design of Donkey Kong 64 and Super Mario 64 with this platform design. So it's one of those games that the premise is yeah saving Tui's no Banjo's sister Tui. But it kind of felt like everybody is a Muppet, you know.
Everybody's a puppet. Yeah.
Because every time they talk, they be like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah,
Yeah,
rah, rah, rah," and
there
it
you
just
go.
and every time they move their mouth, and of course it's cool and it's kind of funny and this kid like, but it felt like this is a Muppet game just with 64 graphics and um, of course, like George says, one of those collectodons, you got to get this much and this much to get 100%, which Nintendo was kind of known for. If you play any of their Super Nintendo games, you know what a collectodon is in a platform game, aka Yoshi's Island.
Okay, what about you, Josh? What do you think of this story?
One thing I really like is the game over screen. I don't know if you guys saw the
Oh
last one.
yeah.
Yeah, anytime you'd leave or save the game and you'd be done with it, it's just technically game over. So Quintel's like, I won, and she basically takes Tootie's beauty, and I love that scene because she's not really hurting Tootie, but she's taking something really important, and it's like you don't want the bad guy to win, So I just really like going back to that castle. I'm like, I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen. And for sure, like all the characters kind of like they have that personality. Like they always have something to say. Mambo and I think Bottles, like they're always talking back at Kazooie because she's always got something to say too. So it's like I really like that each character has like its own personality and it's like very very active throughout the whole story.
What did you feel like Banjo was country and Kazooie was like a sassy black woman just caught up in a bird? Let's be real, like, because even when you get to the intro of Banjo Kazooie, Banjo is of course playing the banjo. So, and then everybody else comes out with their musical instruments, and it's very kind of country and stuff. But it's like in this kind of bright tropical island, and then of course the levels that you go to have a theme to it. So like ice, fire, wind, water. Um, I was telling Adrian or Tony, I was telling, and we'll probably talk about music later. That when you get to the pirate island, it sounds very Caribbean, but it's supposed to be pirates, and it's just like, wait, this doesn't make sense. But okay, I'll jump in, float around, and shake my mumbos to some pirate levels. So it was kind of cool that way. But like with the characters, yeah, Banjo Kazooie, I could those two are like are some of the best characters that came out of Nintendo and Rare.
Yeah, I still want Banjo for Smash. I think he will be such a good fit, especially with Kazoie.
But then you gotta throw you musical notes and puzzle pieces, and then you gotta really get puzzle pieces to get the smash. Do you really want that?
I 100% I do. But no, yeah, I just as George was saying, how every character has like its own personality. Not only the characters itself, but also the items. Like the first time you grab like a red feather, it talks to you, right? And it says like, I am used
Mhm.
for Kasui to fly, blah blah blah. Every time you get a musical note for the first time, or you get a neck, or like everything has a personality. Even inside the levels, there's this one bucket on the, I want to say, the second level that talks to you. It says like, oh, I need to get these hole fix. Then you throw X at the thing. It's like, oh, okay, now I can take the water out for the bear. Like that's, I mean, like everything feels super alive in this game. And the story doesn't have much to itself. Like they literally explain the entire story of the game in the first, I don't know, like 5 minutes or so. They tell everything you need to know, and after that it's just you going. Like you need to know. You don't need to know anything else. You know your objective, and you know what you're doing, and you just start your journey basically, which I thought it was very interesting.
Well, with the characters, everybody having their personalities, those were the missions. And you know, when you go to different parts in an area of the level, you could, when a character talk to you, they'd be like, "Well, this is the mission. If you could do it for me," and you will be rewarded with like a puzzle piece, or but mostly a puzzle piece. You'll be rewarded with, and everything else you just find.
Yeah, but I never felt like never felt that um those extra missions or whatever, they didn't feel like extra quests or anything. Like I just thought they were a natural progression of the game, right? I was helping these people and I was getting the piece, but that's still part of the game, right? Like this is not something that I'm doing extra to get something else. It's just something that I'm doing to progress through the natural course of the game.
Oh yeah, that I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and they all needed help too. I remember like helping the bears. Like their dad was lazy, so you had to get him presents, or you had to help, or you gotta get the something was in the tree for like somebody else, or you go on the ant hill and they're all talking to you. If you're a bear, they're like get out, and if you're an ant, like
Yeah.
everyone had like a chance to interact with Banjo and Kazooie.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, right? Like the world was super alive. That like anything, like everything had a personality. Yeah, and you just mentioned that one mission in which the little bears they need their Christmas presents, right? So you go to the tree, and in the tree there's these light bulbs that they're trying to get to the Christmas tree, but they can't because there's some snakes eating them before they get there. So you have to defeat the snakes so the little lights get to the Christmas tree, and then they turn the Christmas tree on. And once it's on, you need to fly over the or inside the store to get another puzzle piece as well. So I was like, man, like I'm doing all these things that are kind of connected to one another, and it's freaking awesome to be honest.
What's funny too is like when I hear the crunch or like whenever they get eaten, I feel bad because they were all like little guys and they had their eyes too, like they were all alive, and I'm like, no, don't eat my guy.
Don't they yell a little bit as well when they eat it, like "Oh," or something like that? I think they do.
I want to say like the little guys eating them, like when you hurt them, they go ah, but like the the little lights just like crumble and crash.
Yeah, it's like if you're like literally breaking a Christmas light. That's exactly how it sounds like.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was poor poor lights. And every time I failed the mission, I always felt terrible. There was like, oh, poor little Christmas light, they all die.
And they have that terrible noise anytime you fail, like wah wah wah, like
Yeah.
every time. So it really encourages you to like try again. Like you don't want that to happen.
Right.
I was talking to a friend how every time you die on a Mario game, you don't get angry because you get the I mean Mario's death tune is super funny that you're just like, oh, whatever, I'm gonna keep trying, right? But when something bad happens in Banjo, man, does it feel awful. You're like, ugh, need to start this again. I'm gonna do it this time. Oh man.
One of the worst is like when you fall from a high area and like you hear Banjo just like hit the ground. It's like oh, it's like a terrible crash and it sounds painful.
Yeah, he is very much a cartoon character that you feel like he's just gonna open a hole through the ground on his shape. That's exactly what's gonna happen. That's what you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on this story?
Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna go comment on what you said a while ago, Ed. It's like Banjo is country and he's so laid back, and I like how Kazooie's always yelling at him to do stuff. So they very much are opposites of one another. Because Kazooie can't do anything without Banjo carrying him around, and then Banjo like has one attack throughout the whole game that like Kazooie basically attacks for him. So I don't know, I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, and Kazooie actually does most of the actions, and you just
Hmm.
really control Banjo. Because everything you do most of the game, 85% of it is Kazooie, and like 20, and like 15% is Banjo. Besides rolling or having him in the back or having her in the backpack. That's
Hmm.
about it.
Something that I wish I had with me here is just at my parents' house. I got a Banjo Kazooie plush toy when I was a kid. And I remember like it was yesterday. I was sleeping at my cousin's house, and my parents they were on a trip or something. They arrived around I don't know like 1 in the morning, something like that, and they woke me up and they gave me the this Banjo plush toy. And I like oh, I remember losing my mind over it. I was super excited because like I don't know if it was officially made by Nintendo or anything, but it looked really well to the little color that Banjo has. Kazooie with the wings in the backpack, like everything, like it looked perfect. And I still have it. It's in my parents' house, and I wish I had it here to show it real quickly. But
See,
that's how. Sorry.
oh no, I've never seen anything like that. We had no Banjo merchandise, and I'm sitting here jealous at you.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's exactly how I feel too. Thanks, Adrian.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If if
That's awesome. I love that. I think that's very awesome.
if I'm gonna tell my mom to take a picture of the plush toy, I'm gonna send it to you guys because it looks
Just
really well
rubbing it
done.
in more. I see
I'm
what you're
sorry,
doing.
but I just want you guys to see it.
I think that's awesome. I just
Yeah,
never
I
knew
agree.
that they had that kind of merchandise. Now they did a if Nintendo and Rare actually got back together and there was a Banjo Kazooie amiibo, that would be. Let me stop
Wow.
because a ukulele amiibo that might be an idea if Shovel Knight amiibo is successful.
My number nine amiibo, please. I'll be okay with that. But no, yeah, like that just shows how important the games was for me that I had and I still own my Banjo plush toy, and it's something like in my country the N64 was huge, from Mario 64 to Mario Kart to the first Mario Party to Smash, Banjo, GoldenEye was huge over there. What other
Perfect Dark.
Zelda, Perfect Dark too, yeah, Zelda, Ocarina of Time mostly. like there were toys for pretty much everything. And I remember looking at there was also plush toy for Mario with the flying hat from Mario 64. And I
Yeah.
was like, man, that looks awesome. And I never got it. Like I never got that one. I also remember looking at a like a little like a Toon Link or a John Link, I guess, plush toy as well from Ocarina of Time. And I thought that was like, man, that is super cool. But I never saw the banjo. I have no idea where my parents got it, to be honest. They must have gotten it from, I don't know, some dark magic what was in place or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, a magical place.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So actually no. Before we move on, just a quick question: do you guys have a favorite Banjo Kazooie character?
Kazooie for me.
Kazooie? Why?
She just sassy. Like she really lets everybody have it, and that's sometimes how I feel at work. Just to be like, I feel like letting you just have it over stupid stuff that you said. It just asks me just, and and she just says it. She doesn't care what you think, and she'll let you have it some more if she could. But because it's a Nintendo game and it's not Conker's Bad Fur Day, it's going to be, it's just going to be what it is. So she's like my favorite in the game.
What about you, Josh? You have a favorite?
uh, I want to say Mambo, but it's like mostly because of Banjo Tooie. I like that he's just like, I'm gonna get out of this chair and I'm gonna take on the adventure too. But like even in the first games in Banjo Kazooie, I just liked how he's just sitting there and he's like, all right, I'll help you out. And I just like his Iko Ogum, like those little guys. I don't know. I
Yeah.
thought that was like really cool.
Yeah, you guys actually picked like two of my favorites. I'm gonna try to choose someone else, and I think I wanna go with Bottles. And the only reason I'm going with him is because he was always talking back to Kasui. Like
Hmm.
always, every time Kasui was like, "Oh, Google Boy, you got like something else for me?" I was like, "Yeah, I got something for you, freaking stupid bear." And he's like, "Oh, holy crap!"
Yeah,
Like we're
you just
right.
sub in different words for what they were saying. Yeah, they were getting at each other.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I always thought that was pretty cool. So he was a very cool guy who, well, I mean, play the second game and you know what happens to him. But he was a pretty cool character.
It feels like take your lesson and leave before I say some more. Be like, ooh, okay.
Exactly. So yeah, that was pretty fun.
But
Um,
Kazooie is also one of my favorites too. Like just like how you're saying, she's always very quick to talk back and say what's on her mind.
I think underneath Kazu is everyone's favorite because when we were kids, at least I wasn't exposed to that kind of personality. I don't know about you guys, but I really wasn't. So hearing that from a video game character, it was just like amazing, especially coming back from the Super Nintendo, where like they didn't really talk. I mean, like kind of a scripted words, I guess. You like they were saying what you were expect them to say. Kazooie was just like, I wasn't expecting this cute little red bird to just say this out of the blue. So I think that was pretty awesome of her.
Well, it's a kids game, so kids would catch on it. But when adults caught on it, it'd be like, goodness, this bird is just is mean. but the way that she did it was just funny. And, kids are just like, okay, we don't care about dialogue and stuff. But some of the stuff is just like it's really funny and clever as an adult. But kids, they just be like, I just want to collect stuff and jump on and beat the level, feel good that I beat the level. So it has different levels for different players. That's what I kind of like about it.
Yeah, and something that George touched on. Yeah, Banjo did almost nothing in the game.
He
Like
just
he was
ran.
mostly exactly, he was mostly Kazooie, and like he didn't even really ran right because when you were on land, you were normally using Kazooie's feet to just
Yeah,
run
'cause
faster.
that was faster. I'm like, I know where I need to go. Like
But
Exactly.
Banjo's too
but then
slow.
but then you be like, okay, Banjo should be crushing Kazooie because Banjo had to be about 300 some pounds full of bare muscle, and Kazooie's this little bird. He's
Edward
running
Edward
around.
Edward is a video game.
Yeah,
I mean.
Well, that's where
just
the
roll with
cartoon
it.
comes in. That's where the
Exactly.
cartoon, like the Wild Coyote stuff, like that. She should hit the ground and go through it. Like he should, yeah.
But
Yep.
then you feel like Banjo was just like sitting on Kazooie's back, just relaxed, just be like, this bird is carrying me, doing all the work.
Well, actually, on the if you get the good ending, which we won't talk about it much, but I think if you get the good ending on the game, isn't Kasui actually just relaxing like this in the backpack at the end? I think she is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
With the
yeah, that's
coconut drink too, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. I
You know, there's something in that drink.
oh
Cause they had like beer bottles. Just be like, wow. But then so yeah, that happens, and then you'll see like a busty blonde come out with a red bathing suit, carrying some drinks, and then
oh
Yeah.
Mumbo comes out and looks at me like I thought he said because the way that it seemed like Mumbo had pictures of the girl and Banjo was just like, did you get that? And he was like, yeah, I got pictures for sale. I thought he took pictures of the girl. I was just like, wait, when was this in the game? When did he do this? But
It's
no, he's just like, no, it's secrets that she missed.
yeah, it's okay.
I was just like, okay, all right, Bird, you pushed it a little bit because I was just about to be like, wow, I missed something.
you were gonna say something, George.
I remember that too. Like I'm like there's pictures. I'm like, was it about the level or something? But it is the secrets, which aren't they just like not even secrets that you can get to? They're just like teasing you about like the key and the Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Okay, I didn't want to get too much into that, but basically, yeah. So when you complete the game, if you 100% the game, you get the good quote unquote ending, in which Mumbo showed you some pictures of some big secrets that are hidden in the game.
Hmm.
And for the longest time, this was probably one of the biggest video game Easter eggs ever, because nobody knew how to get them. You could see the key, but you couldn't get in there. You could see the mountain where one of the eggs was hidden, but you couldn't get in there either because the shark will basically eat you before then. So there were like all these big secrets that nobody knew how to get there. But if you go to the second level, Treasure Grove, I want to say. No, I don't have the names with me right now. Sorry. But if you go to basically to the beach level, and you go into the sandcastle that was underwater at first, if you input some of the codes, you can actually unlock those areas. And there is not three secrets. There are eight big secrets. Those are called stop and swap. And if you YouTube it, you can find how to actually activate them and what they were supposed to do back in the day. But yeah, let's not get too much into it because that's something that never came to fruition, and it was sad. But I remember looking at those pictures and thinking I have to get those things, and they were cool when I was a kid, and that's really disappointing.
Same here. Same here. Maybe that's something to go back to. Check out.
Probably, I'll probably try it one day, but I've seen enough YouTube videos to kind of know what they were meant to do. So, but yeah, so this game was not only known for Kazooie as a jerk, or how good it looked on the N64. It was also known for the music, which like ambient wise, they had like these sound effects that really fit. Like when Banjo gets hit or falls from really high, you can you can kind of feel how much he got hurt just by the sound effect. And some of the maps had really good music attached to them. So let's talk a little bit about the music. Grant Kirkhope, I have the name here. He was the composer behind the soundtrack. And if you follow Yooka-Laylee on Kickstarter, they actually have a video of him playing the Yooka-Laylee theme using a banjo and a kazooie, which you guys should check out because it's really cool. But were there any stages that you guys remember with the music being like, oh, this is totally cool, very fitting, or one that you hated by any chance? What about? Let's start with you, Edward.
Um, the Caribbean. Even though it's weird and it didn't fit it didn't fit the pirate thing. It really was good. I really like the Caribbean music that they played in that level. And I think some of the there's one of them they were in like a sewer. I think I don't know which
Mhm.
one it was. That one was nice too because it kind of felt also like it felt kind of dark and dank, so it kind of matched that level too and everything.
Okay, what about you, Josh?
Um, I want to mention too, like the very intro. I always really loved that, where they played like the main theme of the song, and then each one had their instrument.
Bam, 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 bam. Yep.
It was amazing to me, like being young. I'm like, that's hilarious. And then Mambo coming out with like he's playing the one instrument, and then yeah, like that was great for me. And then but as far as level, you took my one. I really like the second level where it's treasure trove or something, and
I
they're
think
on
it's
the
Treasure
beach.
Trove, yeah.
And I love just like the way they use xylophones and different instruments for that. I also really like that whenever you go underwater, like the music would soften up and it would like dial back. And I think it did that for every other level too. Like if you'd ever go underwater. But for something different, I'll say that I really like the haunted house level because it just like the you'd hear the organs like
It
like
fits and it's super creepy as well.
I really like that part about it. I'll always remember that that haunted house level because of the music.
For me, I think I'm gonna go with Frosty Bucket. I think that's the name, which is a level that has this big like freight ship in the middle, and the water is contaminated, so you can't swim for a longer period of times there. And it's just a track. I think it only has like three, maybe four notes, and at the end of those notes, you hear like a ship going "Prrr" at the end.
Mm.
And I thought it was very fitting with everything that was going around you. And that level was really hard, so it was almost impossible for me to 100% back in the day. Um, but yeah, it was very thematic, I guess, to what I feel like. It didn't throw me off. I didn't hate it. Some of the tracks were kind of repetitive. I'm looking at you, I see pick or ice pick or whatever that ice level.
Mm.
I hate ice levels so much. Super annoying. But no,
I didn't
yeah.
like the desert level music. Like that one got old for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
that did too.
man.
Gubby's Place or something, I think it's called. Gubby's Valley.
Yeah, that. But it's because it's so much of a trial and error on that level that I guess yeah it is a very long level too. It's like it's not easy at all. So
Mhm.
yeah, that was kind of annoying as well.
Which is weird because that level reminds me of Super Mario Brothers 2 sand levels. Every time I see the sand going down, I'm like, this is Mario Brothers 2, just in 3D for some unknown reason.
Well, it looked a lot like there was a sand level on Mario 64 as well if I'm not mistaken. That felt a lot like that level as well. Just far less annoying to some extent.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think for Mario, that was like one of my least favorite was the sand level they had in there for 64.
On Mario 64 or
Mario 64.
yeah,
That's a
least
game.
favorite level.
That's a game I need to go back to. I haven't played 60, Mario 64 in years.
I I still have no idea how I have a copy of Mario 64 in my hands. I don't know who I stole it from or whose friend left it at my place. It's just there. I have no idea where it came from. But I have it, so that's okay with me. So yeah, so was there? Well, you Josh, you just touched on one song that you didn't like. What about you, Edward? Do you have one song that you didn't really enjoy in the game?
Um, um, Pretty much no. Most of the music that I heard in the rest of the game was just background noise to me. So I mean, it was good, but I just didn't really like. Oh, this is something I could remember. This is something I like. Sometimes it was just like, this is just music for the level. And that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. One another one that I also enjoy is the overall castle theme for Gruntilda's lair. It was good. Like you listen to it a lot throughout the game, and it sort of fits to some extent, which I really like. Funny side note though, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with a couple of friends, and we're looking for music to play. And I was like, I kind of feel like Banjo Kazooie, and I just started playing the soundtrack, and everyone was like, oh, this is so mystical, this is so fit. I'm like, yeah, this is sure. All right, let's go with fantasy. Sure.
But what's great about that the castle music too is that whenever you'd get near like a stage entrance, the music would adjust to that stage's theme, and it's
Hmm.
still the same theme music playing, but just different instruments, different tone. I really like that too.
Yeah, it was yeah. I can't say enough good things about the for that track specifically, but you totally nailed it with the intro for the game, because man, oh man, that's such a good intro. Oh yeah.
And it really makes you feel like, well, I don't want to say it gives you a false feeling of it, because it's very country, it's straight banjo, but when you get most into the game, you don't really hear a lot of banjo playing throughout all the levels.
Yeah, no.
But the intro, yeah, the intro is just like, this is wacky fun, Banjo Kazooie for Nintendo 6. Like, it's a commercial
It
almost, and
is.
it pulls you in and such, just be like, I don't know what this game is about, but I'm happy and I want to play it. That's how it feels.
I It's funny how every time I will start the game, I was normally leaving that part on. Like I wanted to listen to the song every single time. Like I just wanted to listen to it over and over again because it was so fitting with the game that it was very impressive. I actually put it. I'm pretty sure you saw it, Edward. I put the video intro on the latest Fresh Talk because I was like,
Yes.
man, this is too fitting. I'm putting it in. It's too good to leave. But yeah, now we're gonna have a big open discussion about the gameplay, art, pretty much anything we want to talk about. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with the gameplay actually, saying how I believe it's better than Mario 64 to some extent. It like the platformer feels like it feels slower but like tighter. Like whenever you're jumping, you know you can make that jump. On Mario 64, you didn't know, but you tried it anyway, and sometimes you will fail and crash, or you will just go far too ahead. So I think that was like from platformer perspective, Banjo Kazooie actually did it better, and the camera control using the C sticks to go left or right to it was turning like this big cube basically around Banjo. I thought it was also better handled than Mario 64.
See, that's where I kind of disagree in a way. And only reason I would say that is because you have to think that Mario 64, you only have Mario, where in Banjo Kazooie you have two people. So if you think about it, that's like saying Crash Bandicoot was worse than Ratchet and Clank, because Ratchet and Clank, and bringing that in, Clank does most of the flying, they keep him float up in the air to do double jumps and stuff. Where Banjo goes, where Crash, he just like he's in when his dimension, just like really jumps and kind of slides, kind of like Mario. He could only jump, he could only backflip, or he could do a little bit slide. He didn't have a second player like Banjo has that could do all these other mechanics and gameplay functions. So of course it's gonna play better. Um, but you gotta kind of think that if it wasn't for Mario 64 having to flip, Banjo wouldn't be doing the flipping. If Mario didn't really run fast the way that he runs in Mario 64, Kazooie wouldn't be running fast. So it's kind of weird on judging it with Super Mario 64. It it's kind of hard when when you have two characters in the game doing different mechanics to one person, than one character doing majority of the mechanics themselves. You know.
I don't know. What do you think, George?
Both of you guys have really good points. Like I know how you're saying, Adrian. Like for Mario, it always felt like whenever I jump, I'd pray that I'd land on the right spot. 'Cause it was always like
Yeah.
a certain way. Like whenever you do the long jump, like it's a certain distance every time. When you do the backflip jump, it's a certain distance every time. But with Kazooie and or Banjo Kazooie, like you jump and you can control it by floating around, just getting the precise like platform jumping you could possibly do.
I think
And
because Kazooie is your safety net, and Mario
mhm,
doesn't have a safety net. The only safety net Mario has is his shadow underneath. So when you land on the platform, you see the shadow, you know you made it.
and like as far as gameplay, like both are really strong for different reasons. Like for Mario, I really like how you put it. Like it's just Mario, so he is gonna be like that's where the challenge is. Like there is no safety net for him. He's gonna jump, and you're gonna either land and get through the mission, or you're not. Whereas like Banjo, there's plenty of time to like try and try again. Like I felt like there was way more trying with that. Whereas like Mario, if you fell off the level, you're done, and you have to start all over again.
And I think with Banjo Kazooie, you actually had to learn those moves. So you had to meet Google goggles. If you didn't meet them, you couldn't get past certain parts of the game. So it was kind of forced that you had to learn it. Where with Mario, you was already set when you started the game. You just had to time your jumps, learn how everything goes, and work with what you got.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing actually. In Mario 64, the only one like there are only three abilities you learn in Mario 64 are the flying hat, the metal hat for Metal Mario, and I want to say the invisible hat that made you
You
like
go through
transfer.
walls.
Yeah, exactly. So like well, and there was nothing else, right? That you had to learn by yourself that if you were running and then you press C and then jump, then you will do like a higher sort of like direct jump. Like you had to learn that by yourself by playing and like trying different things. But in Banjo Kazooie, it was easier just because you had goggles teaching you basically how to play those different things. So, but my point, Edward, is at least for my camera control and
Uh-huh.
like how it is to control the game, I think Banjo is just slightly better. Maybe because it's a bit easier than Mario 64.
That
I
that
agree.
I agree. That I do agree. Yes, that I agree. I think Super Mario 64 was more of an experiment and it was successful because you got to think this is Nintendo going 3D and you're playing a controller with an analog stick. So in order for Banjo Kazooie and other 3D platforms to even become what they were, then you kind of had to study Super Mario 64 and take what they have and build from that foundation and make it better. And I think that's what Rare did with Banjo Kazooie. And don't get me wrong, if Mario would have had like Yoshi like he has in Super Mario Galaxy 2, you could probably see the difference. There, I think it'll be easier to compare. Where instead of just having Mario 64 versus Banjo Kazooie, um, that's just my
Yeah.
thoughts.
And definitely for there would be no Banjo without Mario 64. Like most of the controls like function just as the same. Like where you like press Z and do a certain action. Like that came from Mario's gameplay, and just yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah, it's true, right? Like Nintendo paved the way on the original platformer formula back in the day with the NES and then with the Super Nintendo, and Rare came afterwards, and then they kind of perfected the 2D platforming with perfected quote unquote actually depends on who you talk with Donkey Kong Country, and it was the same thing here with Banjo Kazooie Mario 64, right? Like Rare learn from what Nintendo did. They probably studied Mario 64 like crazy before starting development on Banjo Kazooie. They were like, okay, what can we make better than this already great game? Uh, I'm almost positive that's how it went because I don't think they were. I don't. Yeah, just like you said, I don't think they will have been able to exist without Mario 64 before.
And I think Nintendo probably has some hand in this to be like, okay, you guys could that's fine where you at, but you could be more creative. You guys can implement this. Oh, we can help you do guys do this. So I think you can see Nintendo's hand because of course Nintendo's financing the game. You could probably see Nintendo's be like Nintendo helping them make the game what it was when it came out or what it is today if you wanna put it that way. Because you could I think if you would have just played a rare game that had no Nintendo game in it, try Battletoads. And you will
True.
literally try try Battletoads, try RC Program, try some of the old stuff that Rare did. Try Friday the 13th and see the stuff that Rare did that didn't have none of Nintendo's hands in it. And when you compare that to Banjo Kazooie, you will see the big difference.
Actually, from all of us, I think George is the only one that can actually try that. Go home and try that tonight.
A rare replay, man. I know. I tried Battletoads, and I tried dipping into each one of their games, and just you can see a progression of like where they learn from, and it's just there's such a big jump of like where did like you can see Mario 64 as soon as you start playing Banjo Kazooie, because it definitely like took things that Mario did right and did it better too. Like I know one thing I really didn't like about Mario was the fact that every time you get a star, it took you out of the world, and you have to jump right back into it. I'm like, I want to stay there. Like for Banjo, it was great that as soon as you completed something, you're still there. You're still enjoying that level. You still have more things to get and more people to see. So I know that was something that for me that I'm like I really like staying back in that stage.
But I think they were just with Mario. They were just keeping the tradition of there's one section that you do because in every Mario game, when you enter the one world, you have to get what's the thing? You have to get to the end. You have to get to the start, and it takes you out. And you got to redo everything. There's never been a time where you just literally explore. I'm like, even now in Super Mario Galaxy, when you're on the ship, there's parts that you can't even get to till you get done doing certain parts one by one.
Hmm.
So I think they were just trying to keep that tradition where I think they told Rare just be like, do what you do best, make it open world and just have fun.
Yeah,
Hmm.
pretty much. And but yeah, that's a good point actually. How you were to stay in the world as soon as you collect a puzzle piece, and that little fanfare that plays. Oh, it was so good. It was so fitting with the
I,
game.
I wanted to mention too, just like all the sound effects. Every time you'd pick up different items, they were all just they were musically inclined. They were like little jingles every time you'd pick a music note or a feather, or the fanfares for completing a level or getting a jigsaw piece. Like they were really encouraging when you did something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that jingles
Hmm.
free. I was to go. Oh, I love hearing that every time I got one of those guys. Actually, it was I didn't notice that until wanna say a couple years ago that I was replaying the game. How they actually call to you when they're like if you can't see them, but they know that you're nearby. They actually say like or something like that. They kind of say like a hello, basically indicating like, hey, I'm here. Like, can you please find me?
Yeah, and they're
And
moving too to make sure if you look and see movement, you'll see them.
I didn't notice that until recently, and I was like, man, that's like how long has it been? 98. That's been 10-ish, like 17 years, something like that.
Yeah, 17
Um,
years.
yeah, 17 years. Like even so, after 17 years, I'm still finding things from this game that I didn't notice at first when I played it as a kid. And I
What
played a ton of Banjo Kazooie when I was a kid.
well, like I told you, Adrian, like it's weird when you get the energy. It looks like honeycomb cereal.
It
So
totally does.
it's very weird. And I was also thinking about one of the power ups when you turn it when Mumbo turns you into a bee. So in
Mm-hmm.
Mario Galaxy, it popped in my head, just be like, oh wait,
Yep.
I didn't know Rare. Oh, Rare did the bee thing first, and then Galaxy is in Galaxy. I was just like, that's cool.
That's actually another thing. Now that you talk about that, let's talk about transformations for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were so many transformations in this game. There was the B one. There was a washing machine too, wasn't it? There was a pumpkin one. There was the crocodile, which was one of my personal favorites.
Yeah.
There was the ant, which is the first one that you get. There's so many different transformations that I don't think I remember them all. If I really think about it.
There's the
Um,
walrus too, I
oh, the
think,
walrus, yes.
Yeah.
and then you turn into a pumpkin. Yeah, I could name those too. I know the washing machine is in Banjo Tooie
But
for
oh yeah,
sure.
that's true. That is very
Oh
true.
yeah.
That's funny too. Yeah.
But I just really loved how they were all like little fat cute characters. Like that's kind of encompassing what Banjo is. He's this little he's a fat bear, so why not make him walk? I love when that getting that one jigsaw with the walrus, the other one. He's like, oh, come in my home. That creepy old bear is out there somewhere. Like you're safe here, and it's the creepy old bear.
It's so fitting, right? Like again, we talked about to everything being alive. That was one of the many examples, right? Like, oh yeah, I can go inside because I'm a big fat bear, but hey, now I'm a cute little walrus. Can I get in, please?
And like no none of the enemies questioned it. They were just like, "Where did you come from? Oh, you came from outside? Well, just come join us." And it's just like, "Oh, hey, is he's going? He's jumping and collecting stuff, huh? Well, he's one of us, so never mind." And then it just ignores it. Just be like, "Wait, what?"
Do you guys have a particular transformation that you guys liked a lot, or no?
The B one for me, I would have to say the B one.
Why the bee?
Because it, it was just fun flying around as a bee compared to I think because Galaxy made me like, oh, I wish they have more bee levels and stuff. Well, I could fly around with the bee and have no worries, just getting the stuff that I need to get. You know, it helped me collect stuff more than just the regular with instead of having Kazooie fly around and stuff, the B one made it more easier without having to waste feathers.
Yeah.
That had to be my favorite too because like that was the only one you really got a new power from being transformed. Like the other ones were kind of like more passive. Like with Walrus, you wouldn't get hurt by the cold water, or the anthill. You could just be smaller and get into the ant place. But I really like being an ant though too. Is like all the other ants didn't like you because they saw your backpack and they were jealous.
They
It was
wanted,
just like,
yeah, they wanted to steal your. I'm not gonna say the word. They wanted to steal your stuff. They were like, "Oh, hey, nice backpack. Where'd you get it? Give it to me now!" Like,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
holy moly,
That was some
dude!
mean ants, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, the entire game is full of these really cute but big jerk characters. Like they're terrible all the
Mm.
time. But no, my favorite is the crocodile. Like he was, I don't know, he
Oh, there
was
you
like
go.
super small and cute, and like you can bite stuff, and the way he like the tail was moving all the time. Although that like that mini game, I guess, in which you have to defeat the other crocodile by eating faster than him. Oh, such a pain. Like he's super slow, and it took,
and the bad thing about it is you had to do it 3 times. So you
yeah.
had to eat the red one. You had to eat more reds than him. The second one is you still had to eat more reds, but avoid the yellows. And then you had to match whatever head is at the top.
Yeah, it was very annoying. It took me this last time that I was playing, it took me like 5 tries to get it right. And I was like, oh man, like that was if I have a complaint about this game was this particular mini game. Like, it was just too annoying, at least for me.
And
Which is like, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, do you even have like a chance to use the shoes as a little crocodile for that mission, like the speed up shoes? And even then, it was still kind of hard.
It was hard. That's
I
true.
remember that. Hmm.
But yeah, this is a good moment, I guess, then to move to the if there were at all any parts in the game that you guys hated or didn't like at all. Me in particular, I don't think there's anything else that I did enjoy besides the that particular mini game that I just described. Maybe the shark. The shark in the second level is scared the f out of me. Like all the time. He was like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo," and you could feel him behind you. You were like trying to swim super quick, and he was like, "Nope, he's gonna get me. I'm gonna
Then
lose
he'll
my life
get you
here."
back. You taste really good. Oh, a snack is in my way. Just be like,
Yeah, I know it was super weird, but
I
yeah,
played it
that
again recently, and that shark was still scary. And I'm like, dude, like I'm just trying to swim.
I'm a 25-year-old man, and as soon as I got in the water, I was like, "Oh, this jerk again!" Like, let's come on, let's get out of here quickly. And he got me like a bunch of times. It was like, man, like this guy. I mean, I can't get away from him. Yeah, yeah. But were there any parts that you guys didn't like at all?
it was Tootie's voice when she talked. Oh, her sound effect was annoying. I was like, little girl, shut up. I I'm like, I wanted one of the screaming at Rare, just be like, have her sign language everything, and have someone else
Oh,
translate, because she is annoying. You
yeah,
know.
her voice was kind of high pitched. Yeah.
All the voices got kind of annoying the more you heard each one of them. Like there's no getting around that. I think the
Oh
worst
no.
for me. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna say I like Mumbo, so Mumbo's voice was good. And definitely when you collect his piece, he was just like Mumbo, Mumbo.
I think the only complaint I have is the boat level, because I think that one was like the hardest, and it was kind of awkward to figure out where all the jiggies were. Like there were some windows you could break to get into the boat, some you couldn't. Then it's like you can't swim in the water, but you gotta swim for some certain things. I was like, I don't really like this stuff. Not for me. But
Oh, and there was one section in that level that also had the shark. I was like, are you kidding me? Like I'm dying on the water already, and you put this stupid shark that scares me here as well. Like, just get out of here already, please.
yeah.
Snack, snacky snack.
I think if my younger self though could answer this question, it would definitely be like those little things that would scare you, like the shark. And I remember the third level, Clunker, that big giant metal shark that had
Oh
like
yeah.
the
Yeah.
sharp teeth, and like as soon as you swam into that little section he was, or the big like open section, I was like, okay, that thing is scary. I didn't
And
want to swim near it.
I thought he had a disease, because I thought, I'm like, why he got this big red spot, like flesh spot on him? I'm like, ugh.
And you go inside them, and there's those little things that are wiggling everywhere. You have to swim
Yeah.
by them.
the worst part of all that is that the guy is actually a sweetheart. Like when you
Yeah,
get like when you talk to him, he was actually pretty nice. Or it's like, oh yeah, you came here to like save me or something. I don't remember what he says, but yeah, he was actually a pretty good guy. And yeah, it was the fact that he was super scary in that level, and actually the music as well in that level scared. Like it was kind of setting the place a little bit. It
mhm.
was like, yep, this is yep. I'm gonna turn on my N64 and I'm gonna play it tomorrow morning because I can't handle this right now.
Wasn't it weird that you could enter different animals in that game and their insides is a level itself? And you would just be like, why am I swimming in a metallic shark? Why am I in a turtle? Why am I in this stuff? And it's almost as huge as the land that you own itself.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, and the second level, when there is the big, like I guess the crab thing, like he is just there minding his own business, and Kazooie starts picking up a fight with him. He was like, "Oh, I'm not like gonna let this go, you bear brain," or something like that. And then they start fighting, and when you beat him, he actually goes like, "Oh, okay," and just leaves inside his shell. It's like, I mean, like it took me when I was a kid, I didn't care, but now that I'm an adult, it's like, I'm like poor guy. Like there was no point of me doing this, but I did it anyway. I was like, oh, felt kind of bad about it.
And then he like completely disappears if you go in the shell. Like, where'd he
Yeah,
go?
it's that's it. That's he's gone forever. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, poor
And
guy.
then the turtle too. You go inside the turtles, and there's more turtles in there. Like,
I
so
know that
you
was
hate
that
those
was
turtles. Like,
that was kind of meta right there. It was like, yeah, there is a big turtle, and then you go inside, and there is a school of turtles.
hmm
So it's like, okay, this game is weird. Any other negative points though?
I can't think of any like right
Yeah, I
away.
don't.
What's with the board game thing? The trivia at the boss level.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's like almost at the end. Yeah, it wasn't a good fitting considering how everything else was paced. Yeah, it was that trivia game was. mm, I don't
Am
know.
I the only one out? Because I really like that part.
Really?
When I first did that, I was like, "What is this? What's happening?" I like just a little the. I guess growing up too, I really like game shows. So I just remember
Okay.
like, "Oh, it's like a little game show."
I think there was just, I felt like a disconnect because you did all this platforming everywhere, and then it's just like, hey, let's play a board game so you can beat the game. Wait, what?
I agree. It really takes you out of the moment, but I just remember like I'm gonna beat Gratilla at this level, and then you like tell her secrets or something like that too, and I like that it also used do you remember this music? And it would play the
Yeah.
music from something, or look at this picture. And I'm like, I really like that part, but I definitely agree that it's out of nowhere.
But then where did the crowd come from? Because they was clapping, yeah. No, it was like, hey,
Oh, they
what?
would boo you too because they were cheering for Gruntilda. Like they didn't want you to win.
Yeah, it was pretty weird, but I mean, it's maybe because this game takes like it takes nothing seriously, right? Then the game show actually works to some extent. It was like, okay, this game is super silly. Let's just throw a game show in the middle just before the biggest boss fight. Because why not? What's the worst that can happen? And
Hmm.
it totally fits. I mean, it's weird, but it fits with the
I
game.
think in Treasure Cove, the Pirate Island, there's one part where it'd be like, "What's the secret to this land?" And you have to spell out Banjo Kazooie, and on the wall it says Banjo Kazooie. You just be like, "Really?"
Pretty much,
They
yeah.
use that a lot too. They use that in the haunted place where you had to move this cup around or something and just avoid a ghost. You constantly had to spell out Banjo Kazooie. I remember.
Yeah. Well, if there are no other negative points, do we have any last sayings about this game? Anything else you guys want to say before we finish?
If you own an Xbox One, it's a game to get on a game to play on the Rare Replay. Uh, it's It's no Killer Instinct arcade version. Don't get it twisted like that. But it is a great platforming game from the N64 games that I do recommend people end up playing, like really trying out.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
I definitely agree. It's a really nice sweet spot between Mario 64 and Donkey Kong because both of the it's like in the middle. Just what makes those three games really great.
Yeah.
And just to hear Kazooie's sassiness, just letting everybody know how sassy he is. You know, the writing is good in here. I really do find the writing funny. Um, but Tutti, you just want to punch in her throat.
No, I can't say enough good things about this game. It was one of my favorite N64 games. Going every weekend to the video store to rent it was one of my favorite things when I was in the school. So it's if you haven't played it. Actually, Tony, a good friend of ours, he was playing it for the first time, and I know he felt bad that he couldn't beat it for this. Tony, if you watch this, please don't feel bad about it. Just go play it, finish it, talk back to me or to us actually, and let us know what you think because we love you and we love that game as well. So.
You can do it, Tony.
Yeah, of course you can. And with that, we are back to the hardest part of the show, which
Oh,
is
so
ranking.
easy.
I know, to which is ranking the games that we've played in the book club. Right now, in order from top to bottom, we have Super Metroid, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Bayonetta 2, Shovel Knight, Super Mario Galaxy, Earthbound, and Bugs Bunny. I keep saying Shovel Knight should be higher.
Oh, and Castlevania Aria Sorrow
Oh,
Slash.
Castlevania or Sorry Slash, yes. So, where do you guys
Wait,
think?
so Bayonetta 2 is third compared
Oh,
to,
yeah, third.
to
Yeah, I
Shovel Knight
know.
and Super Mario?
Bayonetta 2 is better than Shovel Knight.
I need to play that game, man. Like
Oh,
I've been wanting to play Bayonetta 2, and I'm
You
like, it's better
have
than
to
them.
play. Let me say before Adrian falls out and starts screaming. Bayonetta 2 and Shovel Knight are equal ties for Game of the Year, depending on who you talk to. Depending are you are whoever you know whatever you like to play. Hands down, those two are like the hardest 2014 games to choose between Game of the Year, because they're both fun. You know, Shovel Knight does so much retro stuff that if you've been used to it, if you want great music, you can find it in Shovel Knight. You want a good challenge, Shovel Knight gets it. If you want old school platforming, Shovel Knights give you that. Where Bayonetta 2 is so zany, but it's so beautiful, so fluid. You look more forward to the moments of fighting. Like it got a lot of stuff right. Like it really made Platinum, and depending on how people feel about Platinum games, there's a really great balance in Bayonetta 2 from Platinum. Like you could see how Nintendo and Platinum actually work together. where Nintendo was really, promoting Shovel Knight like to the fullest. Like it made it one of the most anticipated games of 2014. So, and with Bayonetta 2, they teach you so much with this demo that it made you want to play the full game. So when it came to Game of the Year, it's very hard on who you want to uh, talk to about what's Game of the Year for between Shovel Knight and Bayonetta 2. Because personally, they're both top 10 games, like straight tens, like across the board. I just feel like that Bayonetta 2 offers more than Shovel Knight for me.
This is our eternal discussion between Edward and me. Which one is better, Shovel Knight or Bayonetta 2? And yeah, like don't get me wrong, I love Bayonetta 2. I had so much fun playing. The characters are great, graphics look great, the action is phenomenal in that game. But I don't know, man. Like
I,
Shovel
I
Knight
know.
has such a special
Let me tell
place.
you. I know why you love Shovel Knight more. You love Shovel Knight more because of the soundtrack, and which I would give to you. So Shovel Knight's soundtrack is phenomenal over Bayonetta 2 soundtrack. Bayonetta 2 got some cuts. Don't get me wrong. Dream Breaker is just like my cut for Bayonetta 2. But Shovel Knight stages, there's the stage level, the music it outdoes Bayonetta 2 in music department. But like in overall packaging, they're like kind of both equal. Trust me. If Adrian, I bet you, Adrian, you probably gonna buy the physical copy, and now that they're including the digital copy for the digital soundtrack for Shovel Knight, you're gonna share it with somebody.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. I'll buy multiples and just let's start trying it to kids. Like please just listen to this. Hit them in the head what I'm trying to do for them.
Just listen to it.
Yeah, I love Shovel Knight, and I was on Simon's Skate podcast, and I talked about Shovel Knight with George, and like I came across as one of the biggest Shovel Knight fanboys. It's because I love Shovel Knight. I can't stop. Well, you know, Edward, we talk for an hour on a bonus episode just just about Shovel Knight. So it just shows that just shows how much I love Shovel Knight. That I've talked this year alone. I've talked Shovel Knight on 3 different shows. So it's yeah.
I
But
can't
anyways,
wait, and I can't wait to get the physical copy because I want the digital copy. I want the
oh,
soundtrack.
yeah,
Yeah, I want to
I
get
want
that
that.
too. Like the box for it too and everything. I totally would buy
Yeah,
that.
it comes out November 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. So look that up for sure. But anyways, yeah.
I don't
So
even
Yeah.
know if I have the Shovel Knight amiibo at my store.
please. But yeah, so again, Super Metroid, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Bayonetta 2, Shovel Knight, Super Mario Galaxy, Earthbound, Bugs Boy, and Castlevania: Area of Sorrow. That's the standing right now. Where does Banjo Kazooie fit on all this? Edward, you probably have the strongest opinion, so I'm gonna let you go first.
It's way. It's after Super Mario Galaxy. So
After Super Mario Galaxy.
yes. So Earthbound, Box Boy, and Castlevania move down more. Like if I had to rank it, Super Metroid, Zelda, Bayonetta, Shovel Knight, Super Mario Galaxy, Banjo Kazooie.
Okay, I can see that actually. Oh, what about you, Josh? I know you haven't played some of these games. Um,
Yeah,
or
like
do
I
you?
don't know if I have the authority to say because I've never played Bayonetta 2, but it's definitely on the list. And just looking at this list, I'm having a hard time, but I'd probably put it after Shovel Knight.
After Shovel Knight, above
After
Mario
Shovel
Galaxy.
because so yeah, like Bayonetta 2, Shovel Knight, and then underneath Banjo Kazooie because like Shovel Knight just pure fun, where it's like Banjo Kazooie definitely has the flaws of like backtracking and doing all this other stuff. So uh, I'd put it there if I had authority to say anything about this list.
No, this is an opinion, right? Like
Is that
we all vote. You have no idea how much I fought to put Super Metroid on first. Like
we fought? We literally fought.
we spent
Between
like
that,
15 minutes just trying to figure out where to put Super Metroid.
I think Link to the Past would probably go above
See,
that.
see, exactly. You have
Probably.
no idea how much I fought for this.
But see, that's why. But see, the thing between Bayonetta, because this was the argument. Bayonetta 2 was number one. Zelda Link to the Past was number two, and then everything else followed. When we had to include Super Metroid, Tony and Adrian wanted to put it at number one. And I had disagreed because my argument for Super Metroid was that as great as Super Metroid is, when you're finished with the game, you really don't have to go back to it. Where I feel like there's so much replay value in Bayonetta 2. Um, Even in Shovel Knight, there's a lot of replay value to go to. Definitely with the DLC that's out now. There's just more to it. I just feel like with Super Metroid, you really can't go back because you've seen all the cool moments. Now, the only thing you do can go back for is to speed run it, and who really is gonna spend that time speed running just to see a picture of Samus? You know,
I guess so, but I
It
don't know.
but
I'm
but
sh-
I ended up agreeing with them putting it at three because a Link to the Past is a great game. A Link Between Worlds is better after playing it, but I can see where the foundation of both games are. Like they really have a historical impact when it comes to video games over
it's just
Bayonetta 2.
what are you gonna weigh? The nostalgia of it, or just what it did for its time, what it did for games afterwards, or just how good it still holds up. Like it's there's so many factors to consider.
I could say this. Super Metroid inspired a whole bunch of indie games and even Castlevania that made a lot of games copycats because they think that it's going to sell. Because Super Metroid is so high designed and high regarded from a lot of people, you know, it's a foundation for a lot of people. If I want to make a game, let me make a game that's like Super Metroid because it's longer. People understand how it works, and it may just have some cool moments like Super Metroid has done. With A Link to the Past, it was just like you know, it's two worlds that you have to explore. So you have all these cool dungeons, and you have all these cool bosses, and there's just so much to explore and get. Where Bayonetta 2 is just like I needed an action game that gets it right because Ninja Gaiden doesn't have it right because of Ninja Gaiden didn't have it right because of his camera angles and the difficulty. Devil May Cry had some of it right because of it being on PS2, but if you look at it, Devil May Cry 2 was garbage. Devil May Cry 3 was super hard that they had to bring a new version out. A lot of people didn't like the character design and DMC after the reboot. Devil May Cry 4 was too long. So
Devil
it's
May
just
Cry DMC is so good. Sorry,
oh DMC is one I
I,
love DMC.
I love it too.
DMC Devil May Cry is like one of the best games that uh
Thank you,
what's his name company did. The people who made
Ninja Theory.
Insane. Ninja Theory.
Yeah.
One of their best games from graphics to action to storyline. I even like the character design. I really love it. You know,
Yeah.
that's
hmm
something and with the HD remake, that's something I'm definitely going to buy when I get an Xbox One. So I think those games have a lot of historical value and a lot of foundation that people could just go back and play with and be like I could implement this into games now and people would get it. Or the first thing that's gonna sell and be like it plays like Super Metroid, it plays to A Link to the Past. Well, I played those great games, so if this game is just like that, it's an automatic sale.
Yeah, you gotta respect Super Metroid, Link to the Past. Like all those have, you cannot deny how good those games are and what they've done for games
Right.
during their time and after.
Right. But I just feel because I played it when I was a kid that, it's a game that I have to forget for about 4 to 5 years to go back and replay again. I can't continually play it because I know everything. And
Mhm.
even when we played it for the book club, I spent a whole day playing it from morning to night, playing that one game. Like me and Johnny, we played that whole day. We did it in one shot.
It was awesome because Edward messaged me like, "Hey, I'm gonna start Super Metroid today." I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, that's awesome. I've been playing for a while too. I'm kind of stuck on this side, but whatever. I'm gonna play when I get home tonight." I got home and like I was doing some other stuff, and Edward messaged me like at 9 p.m. or something like, "Hey, I beat Super Metroid already." Like, holy! Really? Like, I'm stuck still. Have no idea where to go, and you already beat the game. Like, all right, that's fine.
That's where the skill comes in, man. You
Yeah,
just know
no.
these games.
Well, it was my first time playing Super Metroid as well, right? Like, well, Johnny and Edward, they've been playing it since, well, forever, really. So,
Mhm.
but anyway, yeah. So you, George, you say that it should go before Super Mario Galaxy. Edward, you say that it should go after Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna meet you guys in the middle point. I'm gonna tie it with Mario Galaxy. And the only reason why I'm tying it is because those two are games that I really love and I really enjoy playing, and that I don't mind going back regularly because it's fun and it's fast. Like it doesn't really take long to beat either. I think you can beat Banjo Kazooie in a day. If you already if you know what you're doing, you can probably beat it in a day easily. And it's the same thing with Mario Galaxy. Yeah, it has a lot of challenge, but if you really get into it, you can probably beat Super Mario Galaxy in a day, and you will feel great once you beat it. Like you get that joy afterwards. So
But
I'm gonna.
oh, I think the reason definitely for me is that I think the problems that we have with Earthbound made me feel that Banjo Kazooie was better designed over Earthbound because of the problem.
Oh,
You
a
know,
hundred percent.
so I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like if I think if I tied it with Super Mario Galaxy, I meet you both on the middle point. Like it's not above or under. It's
mhm.
there. It's right there. So I don't know. Like, do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about this? Or should we discuss more to see who has the biggest point there?
But George, I want to understand why you think it's higher than Galaxy.
Uh, Mostly because I've only touched parts of Galaxy,
Hmm.
so I haven't gotten the full like Mario Galaxy experience. I'm just going off what I think it might be, and it's
Okay.
just like even our discussion now, we hardly had much to complain uh, about Banjo Kazooie. So I'm like, for me, I would have to go with like Super Mario. It still has the Wii controls, and I've never been a big fan of the Wii controls.
Okay, let me ask this: did Galaxy do something completely way different that blew your mind with 3D space and how it's controlling and free roam compared to where Rare had to follow Nintendo's design because I feel like they're not strong enough doing something on their own, aka if you played a lot of their 360 games and how they got stuck doing with Connect stuff. Um, and that's hard to add it to the factor. But can you see that Galaxy actually did something really new that people crave more for, where people just like Banjo because of the character and not really much of the level design.
It is true because from what I got from Galaxy, it blows your mind from what some of the different things you can do in that game. Whereas like I think that for me personally, that's where I'm coming from for Banjo Kazooie. I just remember like interacting with those characters and hearing them and wanting to beat Gruntilda and going through that castle over and over again for how many times I've replayed it. So it's just like where do I weigh this awesome new experience and this awesome old experience that I really enjoyed and constantly go back to enjoy again and again. But I totally agree with you. Like that's something like when you want something new and to feel something different, Mario Galaxy would probably do it, and it probably does do things even better. So I'm like, eh. But for me, that's where I have to kind of I gotta put it above it because that's how I feel. So,
No, and actually, I agree with the first thing you said, George. We at least, and I remember our Mario Galaxy discussion because I love Mario Galaxy to bits. We had some complaints, some very big complaints to Super Mario Galaxy that we didn't have with Banjo Kazooie, or I don't feel we had with Banjo Kazooie. Like I believe the game still holds up. If you were to, I mean, you can play it obviously on 360 and Xbox One right now, and it's different controller wise. But if you were to connect your N64 with your old controller and you were to play it again, I think it still holds up, even though the controller scheme is probably not the best one anymore. While Mario Galaxy, I mean, as soon as Nintendo launches something without the sensor bar, That's it. That game is done. I mean, you can't play it again unless they go back and they say like, "Hey, okay, now you can play Mario Galaxy with a Pro controller." That's the only way, really. But like Mario Galaxy, there's gonna come a point in which you won't be able to play it again until they either fix it or you find your old Wii or your old Wii U to play it again. So man, I'm sorry, Edward, but I think I gotta side with George on this one.
Um,
I don't want to put it. I don't want to put it on top though.
no,
Like I
no,
want
no.
to put it right there.
Adrian, I agree with you if you want to make Galaxy and Banjo together. I just feel like Galaxy holds more over Banjo because I think Banjo is just it once it follows Nintendo's foundation of 3D platforming, but I don't think that that's enough for it. You know, yes, it is the best of Rare's game, but if you waddle through a lot of Rare stuff, if you just do go through the history of Rare alone, I don't think they're strong. They've been strong enough without having Nintendo's help. You
Well,
know,
but
I
yeah,
it's
yeah, we can make an argument about how Rare either made things on their own or it was also because Nintendo had a hand there. We can discuss about that for a whole other hour, I'm sure.
right.
But the fact is that we're talking just about the game, and yes,
Yes,
Rare did it, and Nintendo had a hand, but it's the game itself, it's the entire experience as its own. I think it ties to Galaxy, at least in my heart, it does.
I think with me, I think Galaxy does more is because with Banjo Kazooie and playing a lot of the PlayStation One games of their 3D platforms, Banjo Kazooie is kind of like Spiral the Dragon to me.
Mm,
I mean, if you play Spiral the Dragon, you know you will probably see some of the design they kind of share together. Though Banjo Kazooie is better than Spiral. Don't get me wrong, I love Spiral the Dragon for PlayStation One, and but this is because this is a Nintendo podcast. I had to stay. I had to stick with Nintendo. So I agree with you, Adrian. I would make Super Mario Galaxy slash Banjo together.
all right, so I guess we reached a consensus again. Banjo.
I'm sorry, George. I cannot put it over. I can't put it over Galaxy. That's
No,
just
I think.
me. That's
I
Oh,
just
have
me.
no problem. Like, I would concede in a heartbeat if you guys purely think like that it's a better game, Super Mario Galaxy. I have no problem saying it because I've never heard really anything bad. Like, I kind of want to hear what you guys discussed about it because if there's some negative points to it, I've never heard anything bad about Mario Galaxy.
I'll send you a link to the Mario Galaxy discussion. But I think Mario Galaxy is a game that you should 100% play. If you guys have a Wii lying around, go and get it because it's on Nintendo Selected right now. So it's like $20
Yeah.
for one of the greatest Wii games.
It's
I,
on Wii U if you have it on the eShop, and so you can buy it for 19.99.
Yeah.
it's sacrilege too because I actually own it. I just haven't plugged in the Wii and put the sister bar and grab the controllers. I still have to beat that and Zelda Skyward.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
sitting
this
on
is
those two
awesome.
games because
George, do you want in on the conversation where Adrian? I'll tell you after, but we're doing some
We'll talk later. We'll talk
yeah,
later. Yeah.
we're
okay.
talking more because that's going to be a discussion. That
Yeah.
right, Skyward Sword is going to be an amazing discussion.
Well, that is the newest list right there. Super Metroid, A Link to the Past, Bayonetta 2, Shovel Knight, Tai, Mario Galaxy, and Banjo Kazooie, Earthbound, Box Boy, and Castlevania Area of Sorrow. I'm pretty sure we're gonna discuss this again next month, and we'll probably shift the list again. That always happens. But that is the end of the show. So thank everybody for coming. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, George. Edward, what are you working on right now?
I do a podcast called Optional Opinion. This month I just got done with the beauty of video games. I talked to um a couple of people. Adrian was on the Nintendo version. Johnny Womack of the Happy Hour podcast. He did Sony with me, and I talked to my other friend about Microsoft. And this Friday, We're doing Love of the Forgotten, so we're going to be talking about the Atari, Sega, TurboGrafx, Neo Geo, and for the arcade. So we're doing that podcast. And next month is going to be a good one. I'm talking to Anthony Cantu about Vanquish. We have a discussion of Grand Theft Auto 5 coming up, and we have a kind of not safe for work, a kind of a naughty one. Does video games help with your love life? And that's going to be a three-part episode coming soon.
I'm actually very excited to be part of that. So, what about you, Josh? What are you working on right now?
Oh well, I'm also a co-host on Simon's Cake podcast, video game podcast. Um, Lately we just did our Halloween special with Adrian, so thanks for being on that.
Thank you for
And
having me.
and currently we are doing a playthrough of Secret of Mana, and we're putting up YouTube videos of the whole experience, so everyone can see like our little journey through it, the good and the bad. So that's gonna be
But there's
interesting.
no bad. There's no bad in
I've
Secret of
tried.
Mana.
The two people I'm playing with, they're having some kind of difficulties sometimes, and I'm like, just get through it. It's amazing. I'm having a hard
I have got to tune in. There's no bad. I love Secret of Mana.
time. It's
It's
it's up there, dude. Like that's probably one of my all times.
One of the best soundtracks.
Oh,
Period.
you
Oh
guys will have so
Hmm.
much fun. You guys will have so much fun. If Johnny was here, he will be losing his mind right now.
Oh, we'll just be having another podcast right about now, y'all.
Probably. Yeah, actually, if Johnny was here, that will probably be the multiverse of podcasts. Because like
Oh man.
all the podcasts, different hosts from different shows. That would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah,
But let's do our handlers real quick. So Edward, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at that retrocode, ThatRetrocode. You can find Optional Opinion on SoundCloud and Podbean.com.
What about you, Josh?
you can find me on Twitter at geogenesis999, Genesis 999. And you could find my podcast at Simon's Cake, at Simon's Cake for Twitter.
And you can find me at Bojox, that's Bojoxz. And that's everything for this month. Next month, we're going to be playing through Fire Emblem Awakening for the 3DS. And I gotta say, it is the perfect way to end the year because next month is the season finale for the podcast. We're gonna take a break during the holiday because I doubt anyone is gonna play during December. So we're gonna take a little break and we're gonna resume in January with season 2. So please keep checking back on us. Play Fire Emblem Awakening. I'm enjoying it so far. I already started. I'm playing on the new 3DS, and man, oh man, does the 3D look awesome on the new 3DS console. So if we have nothing else to say, we'll be directly to you next month. So bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Uh-huh.